Hello, I'm going to make our favorite pizza in this house. I'm going to start by slicing up some Roma tomatoes. I've got my oven on 325. This is something that you need to allow enough time for because you're roasting your own tomatoes and garlic versus buying it, jarred or whatever. So I'm going to be slicing these up just like this. And I'm going to finish these just like that. I'm going to take cloves of garlic and I'll put my knife down on the bulb like this. Try to get at the right angle and just smack it. Then you can pull the peeling off of it. And these you can just sort of chop up just a little. Not too much. You want to be a little coarse. So I'm going to do this and I'll be right back. Alright, so now let me slide this over a little. I've already got a little olive oil in this baking sheet. I'm just going to lay these all out flat. I just find it better to do this, kind of create your own sun-dried tomatoes versus store-bought. Fresh is always best, I guess, to keep from rhyming. And then I'm just going to go and sprinkle all my coarsely chopped garlic around and over the tomatoes. Let me rinse my hands a little. And I'm going to take more olive oil. I'm going to just drizzle across the top. And then salt. You can use any kind of salt. I've used just regular table salt. This happens to be pink Himalayan salt. And you just sprinkle that over the top. This house, we tend to like pepper. You don't have to. I sometimes do, I sometimes don't, but this time I'm just feeling in the mood to put some pepper on top. And I'll probably put some on the pizza too, but that's it. So now it will go into the oven and you'll just sort of watch it. You may have to add a little bit of olive oil, or ideally don't add anything because you're wanting to make it like sun-dried. You're roasting it, so it's going to have to get a little dry. So just keep an eye on it, but it usually takes about an hour, depending on the size of tomatoes, how many you have, how thick you sliced them. And I'll show you when I get mine out what they look like. All right, I just wanted to get back on here really quick. I just have put those in the oven, and I'm not sure if I said that I had my oven on 325, but you need it at 325. You can do 300 if you want to take it longer, 175. The slower the better, but I usually do 325. Okay, so I have gotten this out of the oven. It's very hot. This one got forfeited. I cut it too thin, but here they are. So I'm gonna get this off the pan, set aside, and I'll be back. All right, so now for the crust. I'm making the simple crust. This is 1/2 cups of self-rising flour, and this is 1 cup of Greek yogurt. And I'll just mix these two ingredients together. I use a spoon for this. You can use your hands. You just want to mix it until it starts holding together some. Okay, and then just getting a little flour, any clean surface, whether it be a countertop, a cutting board, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then turn this out. And all you're going to do is just sort of knead this together. Some of it may flake away, but that's fine. Most of it will stay together. And I got the recipe somewhere online. I don't know how long ago it was, but there's different variations of it. It's like the 2-ingredient pizza crust is what I'm using here. Some say to knead it like 15 minutes, or let it sit before you put it in the pan. So that's that. I'm gonna get cleaned up and get this cleaned up, and I'll be right back. All right, so now you don't have to do this, but if you remember the baking sheet that I used to roast the tomatoes and garlic, I reuse it. I add a little more olive oil to it. I am going to put some olive oil on my hand. And I'm just going to start pressing this out. That's all you do. It doesn't. You can put it in a regular round pizza pan if you want to, which I have, and I do still sometimes. But we tend to just like having it just pressed out in its own little shape and glory. And sometimes I have to do this, kind of like to roll it out. I guess if your hands are strong enough, you don't have to, but mine's not all that strong. All right, so now for the topping. Get your favorite pesto sauce. I get this right here from Sam's Club. I don't know how you can see it. And just spread that on top. This is in place of like your tomato pizza sauce. You use pesto. Just enough to spread. Okay. Then I keep spinach in the freezer. You can use it fresh, but usually I just buy it and bring it and put it in the freezer because I like to make smoothies or put it in soups or something like that, or make these pizzas. So I like to put just a little bit of that down before I put the other things. The more greens that you can get in the better. All right, so now the tomatoes and garlic, you're just going to toss these around. Now you can double this pizza dough recipe and it would probably fill up this pan more, or you could make 2 pizzas, but this is all I'm making today, and this is normally how much I do make. But I have been known to make 2 pizzas, like one like this, and I'll just double up the crust when I'm making it, and like the next one may have I can use Alfredo sauce, or just make it like a regular pepperoni and cheese pizza. All right, and then I've got sliced fresh mozzarella, and that will go everywhere. You don't have to use it all. I like cheese, so I want cheese everywhere on this pizza. In my opinion, you can't have too much cheese. Let's see, where can I fit this one in? All right, so that's the whole package, 8-ounce package. I usually get the pre-sliced, but this was the only thing I could get available on grocery pickup. And then I go back in for some more spinach. All right. So now, for the topping on this, I mean the other rest of the seasoning toppings, well, my hands are still a little moist, I didn't dry them, but put some oregano. I may have got a little too much right there. I get a little heavy-handed with those big shaker bottles that I get from Sam's Club. And this is basil. And then balsamic vinaigrette glaze. Make sure it's the glaze. And then this right here, you're just going to drizzle it all over. And that's it. I'm going to put it in a 450 to 500 degree oven, depending on how you think your oven cooks. But you do want to make sure that it is a high temperature oven, so don't cut it down too much. I usually go with 500, and then if I need to cut it back while it's cooking, I will. But for this size right here, my oven usually does 500. So I'll put this in, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Thank you.